Hello, everyone. Sue.oneschuk here to continue the lessons in A Course in Miracles from the Workbook. And today we are on lesson 91. And today's lesson is miracles are seen in the light. So it says it is important to remember that miracles and vision necessarily go together. That's the vision of Christ. This needs repeating and frequent repeating. It is a central idea in your new thought system and the perception that it produces. The miracle is always there. Its presence is not caused by your vision. Its absence is not the result of your failure to see. It is only your awareness of miracles that is affected. You will see them in the light. You will not see them in the dark. So I'm going to interject here, while we are dwelling in the darkness, while we are entertaining our false self, the ego, while we are in fear, living in our separated self, any form of fear, anxiety, judgment, any form of self-doubt, lack, scarcity, lack of confidence, concern or confusion. These are all a result of doubting our holy self, our higher self, which is always there. Our lack of awareness of our higher self in our holy self, which is hidden in the darkness. So, we're seeing the illusion and the unreality with our split mind and our wrong mind. That's why it says here, it is a central idea in your new thought system and the perception that it produces. You're going from wrong-mindedness to right-mindedness. So I'll continue on with regards to that. To you, then, light is crucial. It's very crucial to be in the light versus be in the darkness. While you remain in the darkness, it says the miracle remains unseen. Thus, you're convinced it is not there. You don't have the belief or the trust that a miracle is possible or that it's even available. This follows from the premises from which the darkness comes. Denial of light leads to failure to perceive it. We ask ourselves, do we really believe in the light? Especially when we're entertaining the darkness all the time. It is very habitual. It is what we developed as our false self, as we've developed as the ego that lives in fear, the ego that is all comes from our fear-based thinking. So failure to perceive light is to perceive darkness. The light is useless to you then, even though it is there. The light is always there. The light is useless, as I said, to you, then even though it is there. You cannot use it because its presence is unknown to you. While you're dwelling in the darkness, you're in your wrong-mindedness and not perceiving any of the light or able to have any sense of the light. You cannot use it because its presence is unknown to you, and the seeming reality of the darkness makes the idea of light meaningless. We give more meaning to the darkness. Something happens and we get involved in our stories, in our justification, in our judgments, and our blame. We put more meaning to that. This is what we are undoing over and over again as we are doing the course. And the question is, am I willing to look at the fear, the underlying fear Am I willing to look at the grievances I'm holding on to and the unforgiveness when I'm dwelling in the darkness, in the confusion, when I'm dwelling in problems, when I'm dwelling in fear and anxiety and self-doubt? To be told that what you do not see is there sounds like insanity. It is very difficult to become convinced that it is insanity not to see what is there and to see what is not there instead. It's not real. The fear in the self-image, that's not real. You know, when we are one with God, we are living in our holy self, our higher self, in the space of love and light. That's who we are. We are whole and complete in God. That is our state of grace. The feeling of a state of grace is our natural state. Underneath, it's, you know, there is the veil of fear. I should say, let me restate that. Our natural state is hidden underneath the veil of fear. We're lifting the veil of fear as we continue to do this work. You know, we are holy. We are innocent. Although we, as yet, the majority of the time are not living there because we are so caught up in problems and concerns and trying to figure this out and that out. And we've been given the gift in the course and how to release and surrender all that. And I'll speak to that in a moment as we continue on. So in other words, it is very difficult to become convinced that it is insanity not to see what is there and to see what is not there instead. It is an insane world that we keep living in here. This is a dualistic world, right and wrong. In God's world, all there is love. So your faith lies in the darkness, not in the light. We put more faith in the darkness. How can this be reversed? For you, it is impossible, but you are not alone in this. You alone can't do this. Your efforts, however little they may be, have strong support. Did you but realize how great this strength, your doubts would vanish? Today, we will devote ourselves to the attempt to let you feel this strength. When you have felt the strength in you, which makes all miracles within your easy reach, you will not doubt. The miracles your sense of weakness hides will leap into awareness as you feel the strength in you. While you remain in weakness, in self-doubt, and lack of confidence, again, in scarcity, anxiety, and fear, you're not going to, be present to the possibility of miracles. So it says 3 times today, set aside about 10 minutes for a quiet time in which you try to leave your weakness behind. This is accomplished very simply as you instruct yourself that you are not a body. Faith goes to what you want. What do you want? And you instruct your mind accordingly. Do you really want peace? Your will remains your teacher, and your will has all the strength to do what it desires. What can escape the body if you choose? You can experience the strength in you instead of in the weakness and in the darkness. It says here, begin the longer practice periods with this statement of true cause and effect relationships. Miracles are seen in the light. The darkness hides all of that while we dwell in it. The body's eyes do not perceive the light. But I am not a body. And it asks, what am I? The question with which the statement ends is needed for our exercises today. What you think you are is a belief to be undone. But what you really are must be revealed to you. The belief you are a body calls for correction, being a mistake. It's a mistake to believe that we are a body. The truth of what you are calls on the strength in you to bring to your awareness what the mistake conceals. If you are not a body, what are you? You need to be aware of what the Holy Spirit uses to replace the image of a body in your mind. There's our divine connection. There's what's available to us always to restore ourselves to who we really are in that, to find the strength within. So it says you need a real experience of something else, something more solid and more sure, more worthy of your faith, and really there. If you're not a body, what are you? Ask this in honesty, and then devote several minutes to allowing your mistaken thoughts about your attributes to be corrected and their opposites to take their place. Say, for example, I am not weak, but strong. I am not helpless, but all powerful. I am not limited, but unlimited. I am not doubtful, but certain. I am not an illusion, but a reality. I cannot see in the darkness, but in the light. That is all shifting from the false self to the true self, to the higher self, to the holy self, to the unlimited self. It says, I believe it, yes, it says in there, I'm not limited. I am unlimited. We are in limitation, struggling and suffering and pain and disease and lack and scarcity, which is all limitation. When we keep dwelling in our false self, our lower self, our ego. It says in the second phase of the exercise period, try to experience these truths about yourself. Concentrate particularly on the experience of strength. Remember that all sense of weakness is associated with the belief that you are a body, a belief that is mistaken and deserves no faith. Try to remove your faith from it, and if only for a moment. You will be accustomed to keeping faith with the more worthy in you as you go along. So as you continue to practice the course, and again, we're only at lesson 90. Now, some of you may have, been doing this course for a while, but those of you who are beginners, you do grow in your worth. And those of us who continue to practice this course after years, our unworthiness will show up at times. Mine does. Although in practicing and giving my false self over to and surrendering to the Holy Spirit, I am more and more in touch with my worthiness and that I do deserve the love. It is always there. It says relax for the rest of the practice period, confident that your efforts, however meager, are fully supported by the strength of God and all his thoughts. That's the right-mindedness. God's thoughts are the right-mindedness. It is from them that our strength will come. It is through God's thoughts, our right-mindedness, strong support that you will feel the strength in you. It is through their strong support, that's the thoughts of God, that you will feel the strength in you. They are united with you in this practice period in which you share a purpose like their own. Again, their own is God's thoughts, right-mindedness. Theirs is a light in which you see miracles because their strength is yours. Their strength becomes our eyes that you may see. 5 or 6 times an hour. It is at reasonably regular intervals. Remind yourself that miracles are seen in the light. Also be sure to meet temptation with today's idea. This form would be helpful for this specific purpose. Miracles are seen in the light. Let me not close my eyes because of this. So, again, we're seeing unreality and we're seeing the world of illusion with our split mind. Again, that's our false self, our ego mind. That's all wrong mindedness. So again, their belief, our belief in fear blocks our willingness to understand, as well as our willingness to accept the divine correction or of our perception, the atonement. And that, the one cause of all of this is our mind. And the one thing that can heal this cause, our fear and its effect, the one thing that can heal that is love through forgiveness and accepting the atonement. And it's through trust and faith. So, again, what, speaks to here again, and it's, our need for a reminder of this ongoingly, to be able to surrender our wrong perceptions and our judgments and our fears. All of that is fear-based. Is to surrender, to want peace more than trying to figure things out on our own. It's about, turning it all over to the Holy Spirit. And then allowing the Holy Spirit to shift our perception. While we dwell in problems and in conflict and in confusion, that's all ego-based. And, again, it blocks our healing. It blocks the peace. So turning it over to the Holy Spirit, this is where the Course says there is no order of difficulty in miracles. So what we're doing is acknowledging that we're dwelling in the darkness, looking at that again, it's all fear-based, and being able to surrender, any of our triggers, any of our grievances, any and all of our confusion and self-doubt, whenever we are present to that, to stop and release it all to the Holy Spirit. And then be available in that space of clarity and release and letting go. There's nothing more to do. The Holy Spirit does the rest of the work. The Holy Spirit is the bridge to our divine self, to God. We are not separated. Again, remember, we only believe that we are. All right. I hope that's helpful. And again, today's lesson is miracles are seen in the light. And also, as always, thank you for being here and sharing this lesson. And we will be together again tomorrow or in the next video, whenever it is that you may be watching it at whatever time. And we'll be on lesson 92 in the next video. So as always, please like, comment, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. I so appreciate it as continue to build and grow this community, like-minded individuals on the path of A Course in Miracles. All righty, have a miracle-filled day, and bye for now.